like me. Have you seen me today?
Yeah, I see you.
Let my house be like this.
Last year around this time, a young woman went viral when she was talking about how she doesn't fit in with today's modern day women. She was like, I don't see a problem with cooking and cleaning and doing laundry for a man that I'm dating. Not even a girlfriend, just a man that I'm dating. She's like, I just don't fit in. And of course, the men in the comment section do what they always do. They're like, you got to protect her at all costs. That's a queen right there. What y'all all need to learn is how to be a woman like her. And I was saying to be careful because there are a lot of men who will just use you for your cooking and your cleaning and your domestic skills. And that's exactly what he sounds like. As many rotations as this man has had around the sun, he still doesn't think a woman is worth more than that. They'll always find a man willing to make a mule out of you. And here is one of them. Some men are not in relationships because they love the woman that they're with. Sometimes it's because they don't want to do their own laundry. They don't want to clean their own house. They don't want to cook their own food. If you want to be free labor for a man, go ahead. But don't confuse that with love.
Absolutely not.
This video, and it's honestly super controversial. I think like a lot of men have had the same thought, but they don't want to talk about it because it's like, oh, if I talk about that, like every girl I know or the woman I'm with is going to get upset, or I'm never going to be able to date a girl again, or whatever. But for me, I'm just like, okay, this is so true. Like I have to talk about it. And I'm like 27. I go to church and I've started looking for a spouse. And it's just like you go in society today, and like the girls that I've met are just like, they're not like real women. Like they're not. I meet so many girls where it's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym, make myself super attractive, and I'm only gonna date him if he's like good looking and wealthy. Like I live in Tampa, Florida, and there's just like this normalized culture here of just like gold diggers, just dating guys for, they're thinking, oh, he just cares about sex, so I'm just gonna care about his looks and if he's wealthy or not, and we're just gonna agree on this. Like,
so y'all go digging too. So y'all want to get her personal for nothing. So y'all the gold diggers.
Girls just aren't the way they used to be. They're not like how girls
we want to get out of y'all what we want out of y'all. Y'all trying to get out of us what y'all want out of us, but we the gold diggers. Y'all ain't. Y'all bigger. The men are bigger gold diggers than a woman could ever be.
Like, she wants to get married and have kids so much. She like dreams about like girls. I feel like girls aren't allowed to be like that in today's world. Instead, it's like I feel like society forces them to be these like workers.
The last part where he says that society is forcing us to work. How about society forced us to not have rights and forced us to give away our slave labor in the home because we have no other choice. This
give it away. They think they're supposed to get that for free.
Because he doesn't
all that labor you put into the house.
That no, women don't want to clean houses for the rest of their life. Some of us don't even like cooking. Sure, some of us may want to have children, but that doesn't mean we want to be a caretaker for the rest of our lives.
If he wanted to, he would. I want a G at least 63.
And then even take care of their outside child. See, he done had while in a relationship with you. Man, get real.
But for you, if I wanted to, I would.
This is how you know men don't listen, because women aren't asking for a penthouse in Dubai. They're not asking for a fancy car. They're mostly asking for a date as opposed to a coffee date or a walking date. They may be asking for flowers. They may be asking for you to be emotionally intelligent. They may be asking for you to be a gentleman. Women are asking you for things that don't cost money or don't cost much money. You all love this lie of women wanting a man who is 6 foot with a six-pack making 6 figures.
They all repeat that
why you can't have the woman that you want. A woman who has a Dubai penthouse on her list is usually a woman who's dating exclusively millionaires.
Y'all trying to date outside y'all income range. Y'all trying to date women y'all can't even afford. And then it's all women. Since you can't afford that one particular woman, now it's all women.
They want access to those women who usually date men who spoil them, who spend a lot of money on them. They want access to those women
that they know they can't be
materialistic to make
they even provide for.
When a man doesn't actually
on the level that she's on, but he think he got a right to her.
Women are waking up. They are no longer living
just because he want
when it comes to men or relationships.
You ain't supposed to tell them no, because you don't show interest in it. It's supposed to be an automatic need.
Because they were benefiting.
Get out my face. I like you.
That's why they are always complaining about.
Am I supposed to talk to everybody that like me and lay down with everybody that want to lay down with me? In they mind you do.
Let's go right into it.
Do you know why the divorce rate is so high? The reason for that is because the husband is looking for a wife who acts and behaves like a woman. But when the wife acts like a man, behaves like a man, acts tough, thinks like a man, and all of her personality and characteristics.
What's your role? How y'all supposed to act? What y'all supposed to bring to the table? What y'all supposed to be doing in the relationship? How y'all supposed to act in the relationship? You don't ever address that, but you're always trying to talk about women.
If they act like a man, what are they gonna do?
they're not gonna be together.
That's a problem y'all got. If y'all start talking about each other like y'all supposed to, y'all probably can get a woman. Now you bastards lonely, and it's still women's fault. It sure is. Y'all won't change, we get ghosts. We don't have to be with y'all. That's what y'all don't understand. We don't have to. It ain't mandatory.
They just want to be opposite of us so
Badly that they continue to do the things that we tell them that we don't like.
Listening to this man, I'm sure every woman out there was probably all thinking the same thing.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. We don't care.
He got dangerously close to it, but still didn't get it. Sir, you keep saying it's like we don't hear you, it's like we don't care. It's because we don't. The kind of women that you're describing are high-maintenance women. The kind of women that invest hundreds, if not thousands of dollars into her look, into her hair, her makeup, her nails, all of that. She's investing in herself, and she probably wants a man who will do the same. You're not even willing to put some chapstick on for a video. You are in no position to be telling women about how we should be, how we should look, how we should dress. Everything that we do as women is not for the male gaze. There is no shortage of women out here who are natural, who don't wear makeup, who don't wear weaves, lashes, nails, none of that stuff. Why don't you find one of them? But no, you gotta find a woman who's all dolled up and try to take it all off for you.
Yeah, take out. I'm trying to change up for you.
Checking for him anyway.
You don't want to be with me. So you don't like all this. So go find a woman that ain't got all of this.
These are not your problems. The kind of baddies that you're describing, the kind of women that put that kind of effort into their look, are not looking for a man who won't even put lotion on his knuckles.
Game becomes easy when you realize that women are built to chase men. Women naturally come from an insecure state of mind. They are naturally insecure if you don't know that already. And so they chase male validation, male protection, and just security from men. Once you understand that, this sounds fucked up to say, but you can kind of use it against them. You make them wait for that security, that validation that they want, that they crave, and instead just string them along and don't give it to them right away. That's why when a man chases a woman for validation or security, or he just acts like that,
a woman along playing games with it.
Chase your purpose. They will chase you, and that's all you have to do. Women care about men. That's all
and
they
let's
care
see
about.
how many women chase you.
That's why they're designed to
If
chase
anybody chase you, they ain't gonna be the ones that you want.
care about sex.
Trust that.
How come women never hit up their man talking about some baby you ate? I'll be there in 10
What?
minutes,
Do
bro.
you hit me up and ask me if I ate?
Make my toast grow, baby.
This reminds me so much of the video that went viral a couple of months ago when a man was like, why don't women rub backs and pack lunches anymore? And this man was like, why don't women call men and take them out to... Women still do that. You're mad because women don't do it for you. This is like this group of Latino men that show their lunches every day. They like all work at a construction site and they'll open up their lunch and they'll, what you got today, Papa? And they'll show the little meal or whatever.
What do we got?
In the climate sauce, Papa. Ooh, I'm on tortilla, rice, let's go. Rosa frijoles.
There are whole pages, profiles, and channels dedicated to men showing the lunch that their women pack for them, or even women showing the lunch they pack for their men. And it's usually a good man that she is excited about doing these things for them. If you're a man who doesn't feel like women aren't rubbing your back, they're not packing your lunch, they're not feminine around you, you need to look inward. It's something about you. Now, men hate when you say that. What do you mean, I unlock the femininity in you? I unlock the... Yes, because nobody wants to do that for a man that doesn't work, who doesn't protect, who doesn't provide. You're not getting that for nothing. There's a term in Latin that's called quid pro quo, and it means something for something. Some of these men, they want all the benefits of a woman. They want her softness, her tenderness, they want her femininity, but they want all of it in exchange for nothing but pickle juice. Are you somebody that she wants to get up early in the morning and pack a lunch for? If you're not, why are you expecting it?
If you leave a man because he cheated on you, I'm saying this to you with my full chest. You will remain single for the rest of your life. Let me say that again. If you leave a man because he cheated on you, you will remain single. I know you may not like the video. Why is Papa talking like this? Are you supporting men that are cheating? No. I'm not supporting men that are cheating.
In that mindset that you
Before
got.
you leave a man that cheats, know why he cheated.
I already know. It ain't even necessary to know. It's not even necessary. You cheated. All I needed to know. And now I'm out the door.
Your lack of attention, your
All I need to know is you cheated. Then now I'm out the door. I don't have to stay with you. We don't have to stay with y'all. That's the part y'all don't understand. It is not mandated that we stay with a cheap, no good piece of crap.
know why he cheated. Why
Cool.
is he cheating? Is he cheating because that is his?
We can leave, and now we are.
Because you triggered.
Get over yourselves.
Post it. I've seen women who don't sleep with their husbands.
We're not dealing with that.
And
You
you're not
don't
sleeping with your
have to.
husbands.
They had to back in the day because women didn't have as many rights as we got today.
So you push him away. Men need
It
sex.
don't have to be like that crap. And realize that, guess what? We ain't.
Ask yourself a question. Am I the cost of his cheating?
I really don't understand why men think that a woman should stay with a cheating man, but they don't extend the same grace to women. Like, it's so rare for a man
Soon
to
as she
forgive a
see
cheating
he out the
woman, but
door,
for
and
some
you
reason
talk
they
about
expect women to
forgive.
be understanding.
Shoot,
They
she
expect
better
women
not
to
go
stick
have
it
no
through. Like,
outside
why?
child
They're always
either.
saying
He
that,
out the
oh, maybe he
door.
did something that pushed him to cheat.
But you
So
supposed to
that means
stay
that
when he
if the
do.
man cheats, the man also pushed her to cheat, you know? He too did something that pushed her to cheat, but they don't see it from that angle. Like, it's the double standards for me. It's like men think women are not human. Like, they expect you to be strong enough to stay with them despite their cheating, you know? Despite all their weird ways, but they wouldn't do the same for you. Like, they wouldn't stay with you if you gave them that same energy. Ladies, let me say this. You don't have to stay with a cheating man. You don't have to stick it out. Do not put your life at risk just because these men tell you, oh, you must stay, like, you must be a strong woman. That's BS. That is total BS. They wouldn't give you the same grace. If you feel like you can't handle it, get out. You don't have to stick it out because they too wouldn't stick it out with you.
I rushed my wife to the altar. Yeah, I rushed her to the altar. I couldn't even give her a chance to look at me and do the and look at me and be like, who is this and who am I marrying? I'm out of here. Yeah, I had to get her and lock her in as soon as I can, bro. As soon as I could. I feel like if you ain't gotta lock them down as soon as you possibly can, then maybe that ain't the one for you to marry, to be all the way 100. Even to this day, I still look around like an imposter. Like, hold on, am I really with Shorty? Is this really? This is real? For real?
I do believe a man knows you're the one within a few months of meeting you. But here I'm talking about marriage, like really quickly in the relationship. My red flag alarm will be going off because my first thought would be, is this man trying to love bomb me? Or number two, what are you hiding? The point of dating is to get to know the other person, and it takes time to know people. You might date somebody for a year, and then you might find something out about them, and you're like, I don't think we're compatible, right? But if you guys have made that commitment of marriage by that time, for a lot of people, they'll just stick it through because they don't want to be divorced. I know there are people that marry their spouse after 2 weeks of dating, and it worked out for them, and they were married for the rest of their life. For most people, this is just a recipe for disaster. I would really pick 40 gay sons and 40 thought daughters before I ever give birth to a misogynist. Oh my god. I don't think you guys understand how terrified I am to have a son. Like, I feel like so many people are like, oh my god, it's so scary, like, having a daughter because you have to protect her, whatever. Like, can you protect boys too? But anyway, but like, no, because you have to protect her because you're so scared to have a daughter. I am scared of having a son because can you imagine, like, you give birth to a boy and he grows up to be just like the men that you fear? Like, that is terrifying. The thought of that is literally terrifying to me. Like, imagine you had this baby in your belly for 9 months, you took 18 years or more, like, raising them and doing all this stuff, and then they just grow up to have a podcast, like, and they just talk about how women have no value, and just 50-50. Oh, please, the thought of, in the future, a woman walking down the street, and then my son being on that same street, and she feels unsafe because of him touching her, or him catcalling her, or something like that is literally terrifying. Like, the idea that he'll hit on a girl, like, hey, like, you're so pretty, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, like, I'm not interested, or whatever. Like, fuck you, bitch, I didn't like you in the first place. Like,
You sound like Cynthia G. That's my girl.
Like that? Are you insane? Like, imagine your son growing up to be like those boys you knew in high school who share videos of girls without their consent in group chats to like their other guy friends. I would jump off a cliff. I would end myself. Imagine having the kind of son that when women say, I picked the bear, it's because they've met people like your son. That, oh my god. I remember a male relative of mine asking me why I think it's so important that any man that I date, let alone marry, is a feminist. Like, he just like has to be a feminist. Like, why is that like such a requirement for me? And I'm just like, dude, like, I am terrified of my son growing up to be like their father if their father isn't extremely respectful of women. Like, if their father isn't like the kind of person that I'm like, any woman would be safe leaving their drink alone with, no. Like, if their father is the type of person that's like, yeah, I was fucking this bitch last night, I didn't even call her back the next day. And then my son becomes like that. I'm doing it. I'm ending myself. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I am terrified to have a son. That shit is scary. Oh God. Ooh. And when a girl says stuff like, oh, I plan the dates and he pays, I be quiet because no, I'm not planning no date. You will. I need intentionality and I need you to court me and I need you to do it properly. And no, I'm not your girlfriend until you formally ask me to be your girlfriend. Because a lot of women are in relationships that they put themselves in and they nobody asked them to be in. You in a relationship with a man that they never asked you to be his girlfriend. And a lot of women think that this is such a flex. Oh, we run the world, we're leaders. We do run the world. And we are leaders. But we shouldn't be leading no man into no relationship. Men are supposed to be doing that for us. It ain't no reason why you moving that man into your house. It ain't no reason why you telling him he your man. No. He need to be asking you if you will be his woman. Yeah, I used to really be the girl that wants to get married, have a big dream wedding, and be the perfect wife. But after being a fiance and living with a man and realizing that they don't dream to be the perfect husband, my perspective changed. And I don't know, y'all, it's just something about marrying a man that just feels embarrassing. Like, he actually got you to do this. He actually pulled the wool over your eyes. You actually went through with it. And don't get me wrong, we ought to been tricked by a man, but the marriage is the ultimate trickery. Like, you're the ultimate fool. You fell for the okie doke, and now you stuck with him for life. And I don't know, like, the humiliation starts at the vows. Like, they always say some bullshit.
They need to start having ChatGPT write their vows from now on. And I just don't feel like I'm ever subscribed to the marriage life. I don't want to be nobody's wife. I just feel like it's a humiliation ritual in there somewhere. I can't put my finger on it, but I know it's one in there somewhere.
So let me get this straight. Because you didn't want to do chores, you took your children's father away from them. And now that you're single or divorced, you are still doing those chores, right? You're still doing all the same exact amount of work. It's just now your kids don't have a dad.
Yeah, I have an idea. Instead of guilting someone into staying with you just for the sake of your kids having a dad, why don't you put that energy into actually being a good one? Because a happy woman will always be a better mother. So if you care about your children, then you'd actually participate in their home so that their mother could feel supported. And if you're a dad worth having, then why would you want the mother of your children to spend her time caring for you when you're perfectly capable of caring for yourself? She can't spend her time being a mother if she's too busy picking up your slack as a dad. And you're not doing what's in the best interest of your children if you're forcing your wife to split her time between mothering you and mothering your kids. And how dare you make the decision to leave a bad partner sound like a simple one when women spend years sacrificing their souls in the interest of keeping their families together. How ridiculous it sounds to tell a woman that she should have stayed in a bad marriage because she has to do laundry anyways. Because not only does it obviously take more time to do laundry for 3 than it does to do it for 2, but she also had your children with the expectation that you'd be parenting them together. She didn't sign up to be parenting you. But women don't leave men over laundry. They leave men who would rather lose their family than wash their own clothes. If a woman chooses to do it all alone, then it's usually because you never let her experience what it meant to do it all together. There's no reason to stay married if you're already a single mother.
I'm already doing it by myself, then I don't need you here.
To be treated like your husband when you find
So you bringing extra on me.
to try and make a woman feel bad for taking
And you ain't putting in nothing, like nothing extra, nothing to get, nothing.
Everything for everyone and nothing for herself. So listen,
Yeah, man, I can't even do for myself, dude. No. Marriage is not it, not unless you find that someone with a brain.
Go to places like Dubai, Oman, Saudi. Go and see how women are. They're in their place. They have been put in their place. You know you women coming out in those countries to insult me. You can't hear it. Women are respectful. You will see how respectful women are. You don't see women coming out to talk about men or these are men. No. But a place like Nigeria, you go to US, you see women talking anyhow because too much of what? Too much, you don't give them a chance. So when you give them a chance, women, they go misbehave now. So when you marry a woman, give her a rules and regulation. Now, at your house, you stay. No be your house, you stay. Let her know you lay down rules. She need to take permission from you. Stay deep in every aspect of her life. She won't go out, she won't go market. She need to consult you first. Now you will be the final decision. If the woman will submit to you, bow to you, she go up house.
Like I always say, we have African patriarchy and we have Nigerian patriarchy. And Nigerian patriarchy is raised to the power 100. In his submission, he infantilized women. He talked about women as children. Oh, they must submit. When you go to these other countries, women respect. Those women in those countries do not respect. They are being oppressed. It is a forced submission and it is not respect because respect is earned.
Exactly.
Respect is really given based on the conduct of the person in question. If Nigerian men and African men conduct themselves with respect, they discipline their penis, they love their wife, they love their family, they take care of their children, they honor
they
the commitment
to
of
have
they would not be
sexual discipline. They think just because they want it, they automatically
our grandfathers and our
have absolutely no sexual.
Most of you men don't realize that real power is not loud. Our great grandmothers and our grandmothers were believed to be oppressed, but they revolted against patriarchy in multiple ways. I dare all African men, especially Nigerian men, to go conduct a DNA test on their grandfather's children, and it will surprise you that the majority of the children that your grandfather claimed to be his are not biologically connected to them. Our great grandmothers and your grandmothers punished your wicked and oppressive grandfathers with paternity fraud. They gave them children knowing that those children were not biologically connected to them. Some of your great grandmothers and your grandmothers slept with your grandfather's brothers and gave them children that were not biologically connected to them. No matter how much men think that they are the superior gender, men cannot determine who their offspring is unless a DNA test confirms it. So that was one of the ways your great grandmothers and your grandmothers rebelled against patriarchy. You see, power is not by shouting and saying you're disrespecting men. It is dealing with the man and living long and watching him take care of other children that are not his, giving those children his property and dying without knowing the truth. That is real power. And your great grandmothers and your grandmothers understood their power. We, the women of this generation, we will talk back and we will say we are disrespectful, we don't know how to submit, but we don't have the level of mental strength and resilience that our grandmothers and our great grandmothers had. So keep on being on social media and saying that, yeah, women of today don't respect because we talk back. If you conduct yourself with respect, you will be given respect. Also, marrying a woman does not mean you've bought her. She does not need to seek your permission and consent regarding everything she does. That is slavery and not marriage. But again,
Most of you African men do not see women as human beings with autonomy. Dear men, your greatest weakness is that you underestimate women. You underestimated your grandmothers and your great-grandmothers. Oh, they were so respectful. Oh, they were oppressed. They were not. They watched your grandfather raise multiple children that were not biologically connected to him. And some of your grandfathers left properties for children they did not father, and they died without that knowledge. And that is the way your great-grandmothers and your grandmothers revolted against the toxic and abusive patriarchy. And to the Nigerian women and the Ghanaian women who come into my comments, oh, marriage is an achievement. Oh, me, I want to marry you. These are the type of men and the way they think. These are the type of men available. And some of them will not say this publicly, but most of them think this way because they do not see women as equals.
The other day, a man told me that basically I should be more neutral in my content and stop posting such polarizing things because it basically makes men look bad and it's triggering and it's offensive. Oh my God, I'm so sorry that I'm being offensive to men. But women are out here dying every single day. Oh my God. I'm being mean. I'm being so mean. Let's get serious. Men have been trying to shrink women forever. Make us smaller. Make our voices smaller. Absolutely not. Being neutral is not the solution. You can't be neutral when you want to make change. You have to stand for something. You don't stand for something by being neutral and trying to hold someone's hand and coddle them. Men have been coddled forever. Where has that gotten us? Someone telling me to stop talking is basically motivation for me to keep talking. People are so quick to call a woman a misandrist when literally she's just speaking facts. She's just saying the truth. But all of a sudden, when a woman says it, it's like, oh my God, you're being so mean to men. Why are you being mean to them? Are they being mean when they're killing women and abusing them and raping them? Like, is that mean too? I'd say it's a little worse than mean. I think we're not being mean enough.
Genuinely not caring about men is probably like one of the most isolating experiences that you can have as a young woman. And I don't mean hating men, because I feel like hating men can also turn into censoring men in a different type of way. I mean like genuinely just not caring. Like, I do not have a crush, I do not have any situationships, I do not have a roster, all of that is just too exhausting, and I don't care about it.
It is.
And the weirdest part of it is having to like performatively care about men. Like, other women would be telling these crazy stories about their exes and stuff, and I just have to like performatively care about men, like share and like rehash all of these old stories about like exes or the way that men have done me wrong, and like deep in my heart, I just don't care. Like, I don't get emotional about it anymore. But I will still share these stories just so that I don't feel left out. It gives me flashbacks to this one time when I was a kid. I was probably like 7 years old at the time, and I went to summer camp, and I remember like every girl around me was talking about their crushes, like which boys are cute and which boys aren't. And I remember looking around the room and like scanning everybody, and literally like mechanically picking out a boy in the crowd who I decided that I would have a crush on, like as if I was a robot or something. And even to this day, I feel like I still can't escape that. Not caring is a very isolating experience, but it's also very freeing. I've never really cared about men all that much, but weirdly, I think that my experience of identifying as a trans man and then detransitioning is part of the reason why I just simply do not care about men anymore. Like, I know men in a way that most women will never know men. Like, I've had the experience of having mostly male friends, and I've had the experience of molding and contorting myself to fit gender roles, male gender roles. And let me tell you, nothing really changes your perspective on men more than listening to the way that men talk when you think that there are no women around.
Put my head up if you want, but it's really funny when women are trying to explain how feminism helps men too, and which I agree with, by the way, but they'll be like, men aren't allowed to cry, and that's not technically true. They're like, you're allowed. No one's gonna kill you most of the time. They're just gonna compare you to a woman or a woman's body part. Basically, if you didn't think that women were beneath you, you'd be able to cry. Like, I'm sorry, but like, women get mocked all the time for crying too. We get told we're emotional, or are you on your period, blah, blah, blah. We can't hold like high office jobs because we're just too emotional. We might just nuke the entire planet because we were on our period or whatever. Like, we get degraded all the time. We found a way to push through and still show emotions. So, like, I don't know what my argument is. I just think it's funny that we're like, oh, they're having such a hard time. And it's like the hard time they're having is being compared to us and treated the way that we are.
Unfortunately, if you want to have men in your life as a woman, you have to have some level of cognitive dissonance. You have to really ignore the fact that on some level they are all misogynistic. There is something that they're willing to let slide that is misogynistic. And if everybody, including women, has some level of misogyny in them, you're very deluded to think that the men in your life don't have that. You know what I mean? Like, it's so ingrained. It's one of the most, I would say, the most normalized form of oppression, because it specifically affects women and girls. And so, of course, people are going to look at it very differently. And it's also a form of oppression that is so hard to kind of point out in social interaction sometimes, because we live and cohabitate so closely with our oppressors. There's no sort of bird's eye view of it. It's just so close that it's hard to see it, if that makes sense. But if you ask enough questions, if you sit in on enough conversations, if you overhear the conversations, things like that, you're going to see that it's all of them. And I hate that there's so much cognitive dissonance that is required in order to sustain those relationships. So you have to, it's not that deep your way into having relationships with them. And it's even more depressing when you decide that you no longer want to do that. I no longer want to ignore hearing you listen to music where he's referring to to women as bitches and talking about us like we're fucking objects, and knowing that in real life all of the men that you like artistically just happen to be men that abuse women in real life. I just don't have it in me to pretend that you are not going to uphold this system that makes life so fucking hard for me and other women and girls. I don't have it in me to do that anymore, and it's like I will love you for the rest of my life, and I will have this sweetness and tenderness for you, but I know that your love is conditional, and I know that you don't love me more than you love the benefits that you get from the patriarchy, and that shit is so depressing. And I will make a million videos about it probably, because it's something that's been weighing so heavily on me, because there are men that I love in my life, despite what some videos will make it seem like. There are men that I love in my life, like my brothers and cousins and all of that, but it's like I don't have it in me to pretend that they are not part of the problem anymore, and they're respectful and they never say anything nasty to me. But it's just like those little things. It's like once you notice, it is impossible to unnotice it. And it is just so much easier to stay in that denial space, because once you start to realize just the little teeny tiny ways that it shows up, it's like, I no longer want to know you. I no longer want you in my proximity. I want no contact, because it's so fucking disgusting, but it's also devastating, especially when you grow up with them. But it's like, I can't do it anymore. You don't do anything to help release women from these cages. You don't do anything. You claim that you love women so much. You want to spend the rest of your life with women, but you do nothing. You do nothing to make things better for us. You do nothing. It's so annoying. They don't even do the bare fucking minimum. And it's like, you know that women would do so much more if men were in that position. We would do so much more. If even for a second they were in a position where they were at a disadvantage.
The man that I was married to for 75 days, we didn't live together. But the whole time before we got married and I would visit his home, it would be clean. He would have the house clean. He would have candles lit for when I came over. Everything was fine. The minute we got married and I went over his house, it looked like Mr. from Color Purple's house before Celie got there, when Celie got there. I said, what the fuck going on over here? Why is it so nasty like this? He said, well, I'm married now, so I have a woman that can help me do things around the house. I said, bitch, no the fuck you don't. And it was like he purposely had the house nasty. Like he would eat something and literally like drop it where he stood. I said, I know this bitch. I know goddamn well this bitch don't think I'm finna stay in this shit. Divorced.
The fact that most of these men weaponize their incompetence just because you have a wife, you feel like you don't have to clean anymore. Now you're leaving the mess on purpose because you feel like she's going to come and clean for you. And then you wonder why women no longer want to deal with these men. You wonder why most women would rather be single, why most of them would rather do it all on their own, you know? Because I see women saying that I would rather live on my own, pay my bills by myself, do all the housework by myself than, you know, living with a man and still doing it all alone. Like, it is better you carry your own weight than living with a grown man who expects you to, you know, treat him like a child. Like, those days are done. The days of pampering men as though they are kids, those days are done. You either step up and act right or you're gonna get left.
That's what I did though. I dated 5 women to see who I was gonna marry to help me with my kids, and a Japanese woman won.
So first, let me say this about that clip. He dated 5 women to see who he was gonna marry that was gonna help him with his kids. And the Japanese woman won. And this confirms 2 things that I've been saying. Number 1, women are competing with each other to see who can be used the most, to see who can be the best slave. Because you know you can hire full-time nannies and get them a salary. No, he wanted to marry a woman so that she could do it for free under the guise of a relationship.
The glory of every woman is defined by a man. Never think you can make it alone in life as a woman.
Just listen to this failed biology teacher turned preacher. Let's have it.
Even your beauty is defined by a man.
Religious misinformation is starting to be a pandemic in Nigeria. Religious misinformation.
The glory of the man is what makes a woman beautiful.
What Bible told you that a woman's glory is defined by a man? You guys should take it.
The sperm of a man is called a life force. Get out of here. So when you are a woman and you are married to a man, and because you don't want to get pregnant, you tell the man to use condom. You have tried that thing before. You just start telling God, God, I'm sorry. It is not because you have sinned against God. You have sinned against yourself.
So God that created you with a brain, with your own 2 legs, 2 hands, with a womb, with your own sex, with your own destiny, your own purpose. He said all of that is useless until spermatozoa enters the chart. May God.
If this one do not develop into a human being, it develops into something else in you, the woman. Man is a creator. So sometimes before you go in bed with your husband, pray in your head, God, I am coming. This man should create in me wealth.
Any preaching that tells you that women are empty vessels waiting for a man's activation is not from God. Because the God that I serve and that I know, he created us as full being, full individuals, with our own destiny, our own purpose, our own brain. All this patriarchal nonsense that you guys are turning the house of God to, it's starting to get out of hand too. It's starting to get out of hands.
So women value the semen of your men.
Isn't that funny how all these so-called spirituality conversations always benefit men or tries to control women?
You know that women are the ones that create destruction for themselves. I'll tell you how. A woman is outside running after your husband. You know as a woman at home. Then you start reacting to the man so that you can run to that woman. Is that wisdom? That's the reason why if a woman marries a celebrity, she has to be extra wise. The woman has to be wise beyond wise. You know the reason why? They are attractive to other women. What you like in your husband, other women like in him. Take it to the bank. My husband is funny. That's why I like it. They like it. Your husband, everybody is running after him. And you are reacting at him. Or you will tie turban. You tie. And when your husband comes, you'll be looking like Ishawuru. Like someone from Mount Zion. Do you know that a man can leave a palace and go and live in the bush with a woman that is in peace?
And all them red pillars must have dead or off the internet now. They didn't last long, did they? Burn all that bull crap.
You know what? I think the real issue is that most of these men are mad because women now have standards. Gone are the days when women were living in delusion, and we really didn't have a choice, come to think of it, because from back in that day, women didn't have a voice, We had to rely on a man. Like, we actually needed men. Even if you didn't want them, you needed them to survive. But in this era where women can hold their own, where women now have a voice, women can decide what they want to put up with and what they are not going to put up with. And that makes men lose power. That makes them lose the control that they crave to have in dating. And honestly, I don't think it's because women are now too masculine and they want to be the men now. No, women just have choices now, and they have realized that they have been suppressed for a long time, all in the name of love, all in the name of relationships, all in the name of marriage. We have so many older women that come on the internet and advise the younger ladies not to get married. They advise the younger ladies about the weird nature of men. The same women that they say they want us to be like, our mothers, our great-grandmothers. They say they want us to be like them, but those are the same women that come on the internet and advise us not to actually take that path, not to be delusional about men, not to settle for men, because they have been there, done that, and they know that it yields to no good. Women are now waking up, and women are helping other women wake up, and that's the part that most of these men don't want, because they were benefiting from our delusion. They were benefiting from all the hard work that women would put in just so they could sustain relationships, just so they could sustain marriages. Women now don't care. Back in that day, if you failed in a marriage, you were seen as a disgrace. Like, how dare you, like, what's wrong with you? But now, women are not scared to walk away. Women are not scared to cut things off if they are no longer, being fulfilled in that marriage or that relationship. And I think that's the part that really gets to these men, because they are losing all the power, like they are losing the control they had, and they just can't take it. But anyways, guys, tell me what you think about this topic.
That's what I think, baby. Thank you so much.
Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that